I know we've asked several questions about him throughout the season, but I just kind of wanted to get your thoughts on how his development has been.
Say that again.
Lathan Ransom, what you've seen in terms of his development as he's got more snaps as the season has progressed.
Yeah, we've been bullish on Lathan from the time he first showed up in practice, right, because he was hurt. And he just gets better every week, can now play multiple positions, just helping the defense more and more as he continues to learn, but love the way he plays.
That physicality he showed in the box against Notre Dame, is that sort of chess piece helpful to have against kind of a similar offense?
Yeah, when you have safeties who can cover and attack the line of scrimmage, it just makes your defense better, and we'll certainly need it this week.
Deep left, Brendan Gulick, Buckeyes Now and Sports Illustrated.
Coach, just kind of considering the different schemes you've seen these first 3 weeks, I know you obviously had no part in setting the schedule, but do you feel like you've gotten enough breadth of looks from an offense that you feel like you've seen lots of stuff as you get ready for conference play?
Well, you never feel totally comfortable. I mean, that's, life as a defense coordinator in big-time college football, because it's not the NFL. You change week to week in terms of what you face. But I think we have seen enough to coach off of, and that's what you're looking for, real-life game examples to show your guys. And I think you're right. We've had enough of a variety to at least be ready for this situation.
I want to ask you a question about Denzel Burke and just his level of attention to detail as he prepares. He's had some good moments. He's had some tough moments. Can you speak about how he preps for games?
Denzel's serious about his craft, comes in early, works with Coach Walt, does all the right things. Like I said before, it's life on an island is difficult, and particularly at the Ohio State with all the attention, and he's just going to get better and better every week. We have 100% confidence in him.
Second row right, Doug Lesmerises, Cleveland.com.
Jim, just looking back real quick, when you face a quarterback like Finn, who had escapability on Saturday, what did you think your defense learned from facing a quarterback like that, and how do you think you guys handled him?
I don't think we did a great job. That starts with me. I think it was not at the level that we want our defense to be, silver bullet caliber. It wasn't there. Now, yeah, a lot to learn from it. Always great that you win and you can learn from that, but I think that starts with me. I feel like I didn't do a good enough job preparing them for, it's there, and you set up some things and some schemes, to combat it. But he was really talented, and I saw during the game that it's almost like when you go. I learned a lot personally too, because it's like when you go against an option team, how do you simulate that in practice? It's difficult. How do you simulate a scrambling quarterback? Near impossible, it really is, because you're not tackling in practice, you're not to get that sense of speed. So, I thought we had some schemes and some ideas, but we didn't execute them very well. And when you don't execute, that's not the player's fault. That's my fault, because you got to continue to be creative to find ways to do it. So, learned a lot from the experience. We'll get better.
Front row middle, Bill Rabinowitz, Columbus Dispatch.
We know what Wisconsin's going to do, basically. Can you just kind of describe the challenge of knowing that they're going to want to establish the run, but easier said than done defending it?
Yeah, it's Big Ten football. It's, the fact that you got to be able to win one-on-one battles in the running game, hard-fought, fist fight, all those things that you I think when you first start playing defense, as a kid, or you think about it, that's what you think of. Like, hey, I'm going to put my hand down, I'm going to defend the line, not going to, don't back up and fight. you know. Now, as you get older and play defense, you know, you think sacks and the glory, and you know, the game kind of changes. So, you know, we just have to put that hard-nosed mindset and everything that Coach Mick does in the weight room, you know, that's just all got to come down to, like you said, one play. I know you're going to run it. I know this is how you're going to block me, and it's going to be me versus you, and we have to win those situations. So our guys need to just come out prepared, and we need to practice like that.
And your run defense has been pretty good. I'm assuming you've been pretty happy with it?
I mean, yeah, it's been good. You know, it can get a lot better. I think that last week could have been better. You know, I'm still looking for us to dominate in all aspects at the point of attack. We're not there yet, so I think there's still a lot more work to do.
And do you expect Mike Hall to be back?
That's what they tell me, right? That's like it's not it's above my pay grade, but you know.
Third row left, Dan Hope, 11 Warriors.
Jim, you guys have given up a 50-yard passing play in each of the first 3 games. I mean, how much does that concern you?
You know, we talk about explosive plays, right? And how, you know, I've talked before about how I've built those into the system because they do happen. Now, you don't want to give up any of them, you know, so, you know, you never condone that, and it's always a concern, and you have to look at it and say, why did it happen, right? What's the issue? You know, was it just a 50-50 ball, or were we out of position? And if we were out of position, why were we out of position? So every single explosive play is concerning. It's not the end of the world because we've shown we can recover from it, and that's important that your guys know you can recover. But every single one is concerning and needs to have an answer. Now, that answer may just be, hey, we lost a 50-50 battle. Okay, move on, next. You know, but we look at them from a schematic standpoint, from an individual standpoint, from a technique standpoint. You try to break down every explosive play and come up with a reason.
Is there any common thread you look at and go, this is why this has happened a few times?
No, I feel like we've been on the right track in terms of looking at each one and schematically, you know, being good where we're at scheme-wise. And, you know, you have a missed tackle here, a 50-50 ball. Some things you can improve, but I think we're on the right track schematically, at least, you know, in terms of being in the right places.
Second row right, Bill Landis, Rivals.
Jim, I know we've asked you about this before, but I think there's a segment of the Ohio State fan base who's just so used to seeing 4 down, 3 backers in the Big Ten and think to themselves, well, you can't possibly play anything different and still be able to stop the run. Yet you guys were one of the best run defenses in the country last year, playing out of 4-2-5. Just what's it take to play out of that personnel, but still be a stout run defense like you guys were last year and have been so far this year?
You know, I'm only concerned myself with production, right? I'm not, I don't care whether it's 3 down or 4 down or how it looks or what the thought is in my head. I mean, that's all. It only matters when you actually see it on the field and it happens. So you're right. So, you know, we've now demonstrated. When I was a young coach, I would have thought the same thing. You know, you can't do that, you know. But what I found is that if you can create indecision with the offensive line or the quarterbacks or their combination schemes or, you know, even their one step of footwork, create a little bit of hesitation, and you have some athletes who are attacking and moving around, you know, you give your guys an advantage. In essence, you're playing offense on defense. Now, you can't do it all the time. It's all about the mix. It's all about the balance. It's, you know, throwing it in there every now and then, giving different looks, and having your guys believe that when you call it, you have a chance to set them back, you know, and that's, so far we've been able to do that. And that's, with, you know, our opponent this week, you if you can get them behind the sticks, you give yourself a better chance, right? Like option football, if they can roll along with a, stay on track and on course. Now the drives get longer, and our job is to get the ball back to the offense as quickly as possible. So that puts every really first down play at a premium to try to knock them off target, knock them off pace, and then every third down is gold because that's when you can get the ball back.
Second row middle, Nathan Baird, Cleveland.com.
It seemed like there were a lot of instances against Toledo where you had defenders who were within like an arm's length or less of getting a hand on Finn, but you were getting maybe the pressure you wanted, but a quarterback who could maybe exploit that in a way that a lot of quarterbacks won't be able to. I guess just how did you analyze how you guys were winning up front? Ryan was just in here talking about like kind of divorcing the result from whether you won the play or not. Were you able to do that at all defensively?
Yeah, I mean, too much leaving of our feet. Where you feel like you're behind and you end up leaving your feet, and then you're not going to make many plays that way. So again, it goes back to everything goes back to preparation. Everything goes back to what we did that week. I can coaches can. I had a plan for this. I had a plan for that. Well, on the field, that didn't work, and I thought diving, leaving of the feet. That's just like guys are feeling they're a step behind a scrambling quarterback. So that goes back to me in preparation. And like I said, I thought when it came to the scrambling quarterback, who we knew was talented, we got to be more creative in finding ways to practice that because it's difficult to simulate in practice. But that's my job.
Did you guys use a non-quarterback on the scout team at all?
No, we didn't do that last week. No.
How much have you followed Jim Leonard, and I don't know how much you look at other defensive coordinators around the country. I assume you do some. Anything that stands out about just the approach that he has, or the approach that those teams have?
No, I mean, you're always paying attention to who's doing well on defense, and they have been consistently very good. So I think they have a system and they run it, and they know what they're doing. All the things that I think you want to be as a defense coordinator, I think they've been showing it. Having a system that you can count on and having answers.
Fourth row right, Cameron Teague Robinson, The Athletic.
Jim, Cam Martinez had to step in and play some big snaps for you guys as safety. Just when you watched him, how did you evaluate his game?
I thought Cam did really well. I mean, I think I had confidence in him. I felt like he was game ready going into the season. And, that's just the way I look at things. If I feel like guys are game ready, no matter what circumstance brings them into the game, then I'm completely comfortable with them and confident. And I felt that way about Cam, and I think he showed up, did a great job.
You guys have had to play, kind of move that stage rotation around a little bit. Josh came out the first game, you late in. Just kind of what have you seen from that group as a whole that whenever you're able to plug people in, they still been able to kind of get the job done for you guys?
Understanding and continuing improvement of the scheme and the knowledge of the scheme allows your safeties to be multiple, right? To handle different positions and guys step up. So I going into the season, I felt good. I mean, I feel even better now because we've gone into games. Like I said, a lot of it is until you see it in a game, it's like work in the laboratory, but what I'm seeing in the game is I'm seeing safeties now who are understanding the system. Coach Perry's doing a great job, and now you can kind of plug and play guys, and that's a good thing for us.
Front row right, Austin Ward, Rivals, 97.1 The Fan.
Jim, we've seen how productive that Mike has been up front. Outside of him, how have you felt that interior of that defensive line has performed through these first 3 weeks? And you referenced, I guess, stopping the rush and the point of attack. Is that an area of emphasis for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think our tackles, they haven't had many opportunities in the pass rush, but I felt, if you look at us having good numbers against the run, then you have to. Those are the things that you don't see. Fans don't see it, or the casual observer doesn't see it. But if we're putting up good numbers in the run, then our tackles are doing the grunt work and doing a lot of good things.
Front row right, Tim May, on three.
As you look at Wisconsin's offensive front, analysts have said that they seem to be more of a developing front this year than that seasoned-looking Wisconsin teams have passed. What have you seen from them specifically? And then number two, you look more at the Washington State film to see what Washington State had from the standpoint of success against them. How does that kind of work?
Yeah, you want to, you look at the highest caliber or quality opponent, and that was certainly a game that we focused on and will continue. But I think their offensive line is very solid. Now, you're right, I don't have the experience going back years with them, but, to me, they're as-built, big, physical guys, well-trained, and it'll be a battle.
And the other thing quickly, it seems like more and more teams now, this might be a different test this week, obviously. These are two heavyweights going at each other, but it seems like you guys are really teams are trying to attack you on the edges, because that's where the tall grass is, right? Mm-hmm. How have you more and more geared up, especially your corners and the safeties, for what may be coming down the road in that regard?
You're right, it's experience, guys getting in games, understanding that there's going to be shots taken, shots are going to be fired, and you got to have a thick skin, and they're coming, and it's just a continual development of the confidence, and to know going into every game at any time, like, hey, this is going to happen. They're not making anything here. They're going to go out there, and it's a developmental thing. You want it's game reps are just, they're like gold. They count. Even if they don't go as well as you would like, you're building that experience.
Right next door, Joey Kaufman, Columbus Dispatch.
Jim, Ryan was talking to us about CJ's ability to throw on the run, and you guys would do some scrambling drills or some 7-on-7, 7-on-9s, going back to last spring when he kind of first noticed him making progress in that area. Just what have you noticed from going up against him in practice as far as his ability to throw on the move?
Yeah, he's amazing. I mean, I'm glad he's on my team. I mean, it's just, every day in practice, I think since I've been here, it's just been it's incredible to watch some of the throws he makes, where he places the ball, and it makes it tough to defend, but it makes our guys better. We're fortunate to be able to go against him and our receiving core, and to do it on a regular basis, and that Coach Day continues to have us do that, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, no matter what. Doesn't matter that we're playing a team that's going to come out with 3 tight ends or a fullback. I still want to spend time going against our offense with multiple receivers and the throwing game, because that's going to make us better as the season goes on.
And how much harder is it defending the quarterback when he's able to do stuff outside structure?
It changes the game, right? Once the pocket is broken, now all routes have changed, all schemes have changed, because everybody is now converting routes, and defensive guys have to plaster. We could find a guy and take him. It's just, now it's free form football, and that's a lot different than what I try to do, which is, you try to control an uncontrollable game, and once it breaks loose like that, it's every man for himself.
And final questions over here to the right, Adam King, WBNS 10 TV.
Obviously, not every play can be a turnover, but I think you guys went 25 drives without forcing one. How frustrating is that as a defensive coordinator? How much relief was there when you finally got it? And how do you kind of scheme to try to force turnovers? I don't know if that's possible.
Yeah, no frustration, no relief, neither. Like I said, it's one metric, and you know, the key point is to get the ball back to the offense. So that's what I look at. Now, scheming to get turnovers is dangerous. I mean, you know, you might one or two things maybe. Hey, I think they're going to do this. Let me try this, but they have to come in the natural order of the game by continuous repetition practice, so that a guy feels comfortable. That's Ronnie's play. You know, that's we've been working on that since I got here. You know, and now all of a sudden Ronnie feels comfortable enough to move from his position and pick that up. But it's just it's the course of time, repetition, harping on it, and then the more comfortable they feel, the more they can see the play as it's happening, understand what's about to happen, and then, you know, jump it.
Coach, I'm sorry, I've got one more question here. Stephen Means, Cleveland.com.
I mean, you've gone up against your fair share of solid running backs in your career. Just on film, just quickly, I mean, where does Braylon Allen kind of stack up with some of those other guys?
Yeah, he's different, you know. Big, strong back. You know, it's certainly gone up against guys like him before, but he's as good as any for in the big back category. He's as good as any that I have seen, and you know, we have to make sure that we you know, have great form when we tackle him, and you know, rally to the football and vice him in, and you know, it's a team. It's going to be a team effort because he is very talented.
Great. Coach, thank you very much.